I stood on the empty platform at 10:47 watching the last train pull away without me. My phone was dead. My wallet had $12. The November wind cut through my jacket like I wasn't wearing one. Then a car pulled up and a window rolled down and a voice said my name. A voice I hadn't heard in 8 years. If you enjoy these stories, please subscribe and hit the bell. It truly helps us keep creating content like this. My name is Sullivan Garza, and I was 26 years old the night everything changed. I worked as a freelance content writer, which is a polite way of saying I cobbled together enough articles and web copy to almost pay rent in a studio apartment in the Ballard neighborhood of Seattle. The train I'd just missed was the last southbound commuter line from Everett back to Seattle. I'd been up in Everett interviewing a small business owner for a local magazine piece that paid $300 and would take me 4 days to write. The interview had run long. I'd lost track of time, and now I was stranded at the Everett station platform with almost no money and no way to charge my phone. I stood there doing the math. A rideshare back to Seattle would cost $60 minimum. I had $12 in cash, and my debit card was maxed until my deposit cleared on Friday. It was Tuesday. The platform was empty. The station building was locked. The temperature was dropping. I was trying to figure out if I could sleep in the waiting area outside when I heard a car pull into the pickup lane. I turned. A dark sedan. Clean. Expensive looking. The passenger window rolled down. Sullivan? I froze. I knew that voice. Hadn't heard it in 8 years, but I knew it immediately. I walked closer to the car and looked inside. Thaddeus. Emery sat in the driver's seat looking exactly like I remembered and completely different at the same time. Same dark eyes, same sharp jawline, same careful way of holding himself, but older now. 34 instead of 26, wearing a suit that probably cost more than I made in 3 months. Thad, I said, you missed your train. It wasn't a question. How did you... I stopped. How did you know I was here? I didn't. I was driving back from a meeting in Everett and saw you standing on the platform. He paused. Get in. I'll give you a ride. Every reasonable part of my brain said this was a bad idea. Thad and I had history. Complicated history. The kind that ended with one of us leaving and the other one not following and 8 years of silence. But it was cold and I was stranded and he was offering a ride. Okay, I said. I got in the car. The interior smelled like leather and something expensive I couldn't name. Thad pulled out of the station and onto the road heading south. We didn't speak for the first few minutes. Just the sound of the car and the heater running and the highway stretching out ahead of us. So, he said finally, how have you been? That's a big question for a car ride. It's a 40-minute car ride. We have time. I looked at him, at the way his hands rested on the wheel, at the silver watch on his wrist that definitely hadn't been there 8 years ago. I've been okay, I said. Working, writing, the usual. Still doing journalism? Freelance content work mostly. Some journalism. It pays the bills. I paused. What about you? I'm a senior consultant at a healthcare management firm downtown. We do operational strategy for hospital systems. Of course he was. Thad had always been the kind of person who knew exactly where he was going and how to get there. It had been one of the things I'd loved about him, and one of the things that had made it impossible. That sounds important, I said. It pays well. He glanced at me. Is that what you want to know? Whether I'm successful? I wasn't asking that. You were thinking it. He was right. I had been. We drove in silence for another mile. Why did you stop? I asked. When you saw me on the platform, you could have kept driving. He didn't answer right away. Just watch the road. I don't know, he said finally. I saw you standing there and I pulled over before I'd really decided to. Muscle memory, maybe. Muscle memory. From before. When I used to pick you up places, I remembered. Late nights after my shifts at the bookstore. Early mornings when my car wouldn't start. Thad had always been the one I called. The one who showed up until he wasn't. That was a long time ago, I said. 8 years. You remember exactly. Of course I remember exactly. The highway stretched ahead of us. Lights from other cars. Darkness beyond the shoulder. The space between us felt enormous and very small at the same time. Can I ask you something? I said, go ahead. Do you ever think about what happened? Between us. He was quiet for a long moment. Yes, he said. I think about it more than I should. What do you think? I think I made a choice. And you made a different choice, and we both lived with it. That was accurate. Painfully accurate. 8 years ago, Thad had gotten a job offer in Chicago. A good offer. The kind that would set up his whole career. He'd asked me to come with him. I'd said no. I'd had reasons. My family was in Seattle. My work was in Seattle. I wasn't ready to leave. He'd gone anyway. We'd said we'd try long distance. We'd lasted 4 months. It had ended the way those things always end. Slowly and then all at once. Do you regret it? I asked. Going to Chicago? No. It was the right choice for my career. He paused. Do you regret staying? Sometimes. Not for the reasons you'd think. What reasons? I regret that I didn't fight harder. To make it work. To find a compromise. I just let you go. I let you go too. You asked me to come with you. Asking isn't the same as fighting, he said. We were getting close to Seattle now. I could see the city lights in the distance. The familiar skyline. The shape of everything I'd chosen over him. Where in Ballard? Thad asked. Leary Avenue. Near the locks. He nodded. Adjusted his route. We drove through the city in silence. Past Queen Anne. Through Fremont. Into Ballard. He pulled up in front of my building. A 3-story walk-up that had been built in the 70s and looked it. This is me, I said. He looked at the building. Didn't say anything. Thank you for the ride, I said. I really appreciate it. It's fine. I opened the door. Cold air rushed in. Thad, yeah? Can I ask you something else? Sure. Why did you come back to Seattle? You said you were in a meeting in Everett, but you live here now. When did that happen? 2 years ago. The firm opened a Seattle office. They asked me to run it. And you said yes. I said yes. Why? He looked at me. Really looked at me for the first time since I'd gotten in the car. Because Chicago was never home, he said. And I got tired of pretending it was. I didn't know what to say to that. Good night, Sullivan. Good night. I got out of the car and walked to my building. I didn't look back until I was at the door. When I did, he was still there, watching me, making sure I got inside safely, just like he used to. I went inside and climbed the stairs to my apartment and sat on my couch in the dark for a long time, thinking about muscle memory and choices and the 8 years I'd spent convincing myself I'd made the right one. I didn't expect to hear from Thad again. The ride had been a coincidence, a strange moment of the past colliding with the present. I figured we'd both go back to our separate lives and that would be that. Then 3 days later, my phone rang. Sullivan, it's Thad. I sat up straighter on my couch. Hey, hi, how did you get my number? You gave it to me 8 years ago. I never deleted it. Oh, is this a bad time? No, I'm just working. Well, trying to work. I closed my laptop. What's up? I wanted to ask you something. And you can absolutely say no. Okay? My firm is launching a new website and we need someone to write the content. Service descriptions, executive bios, case studies. It's a lot of work. We'd pay professional rates. I was quiet. Sullivan? I'm here. Why are you asking me? Because you're a good writer. You were a good writer 8 years ago, and I'm guessing you're better now. There are a lot of good writers in Seattle. I know, but I know you, and I trust you. And if I'm being completely honest, I'd like a reason to see you again that doesn't feel as complicated as just asking you to coffee. I smiled despite myself. Offering me a job feels less complicated than coffee? In my head, it does. Your head is strange, Thad. I'm aware. He paused. So what do you think? Are you interested? I should have said no. Should have kept the boundary clean. But the truth was I needed the work. And the truth underneath that truth was I wanted to see him again, too. Yes, I said. I'm interested. Good. Can you come by the office Monday? We'll go over the scope and timeline. What's the address? He gave me an address downtown. 4th Avenue. One of the newer buildings. Monday at 10? He said. I'll be there. Looking forward to it. He hung up. I sat there holding my phone and wondering what exactly I'd just agreed to. Monday came. I wore the one button-down shirt I owned that didn't need ironing and took the light rail downtown. Thad's building was all glass and steel. The kind of place where everyone in the lobby looked important and busy. I took the elevator to the 14th floor. The doors opened onto a reception area with the firm's name in brushed metal letters on the wall. A woman at the desk asked who I was there to see. I told her. She made a call. 2 minutes later, Thad appeared. He was wearing a different suit. Charcoal gray, white shirt, no tie. He looked professional and polished and completely at home in this space. Sullivan. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the opportunity. He led me back through the office. Open floor plan, glass-walled conference rooms. People at standing desks with multiple monitors. Everyone looked competent and focused. His office was in the corner. Windows on 2 sides. View of the sound and the mountains beyond. A desk that was remarkably clean. 2 chairs facing it. Sit, he said. Want coffee? Sure. He made 2 cups from a machine on the credenza. Handed me one. Sat across from me. So, he said, let me walk you through what we need. He did. He was thorough and organized and clear about expectations. The scope was bigger than I'd expected. 8 weeks of work. Maybe 10. But the rate he quoted was more than fair. It was generous. What do you think? He asked when he'd finished. I think I can do this. I know you can do this. The question is, do you want to? Yes, I want to. Good. He slid a folder across the desk. Contract, standard terms. Take it home, read it, let me know if you have questions. I took the folder. When would you want me to start? This week, if possible. I'll set you up with access to our shared drive. You can work remotely most of the time, but I'd like you to come in once a week for check-ins. That works. We talked logistics for another 20 minutes. Then he walked me back to the elevator. Thanks for this, Thad, I said. Really? It's not charity, Sullivan. You're qualified and we need someone good. This is just business, is it? He looked at me. I'd like it to be, but it's not. No, he said. It's not. The elevator arrived. The doors opened. I'll see you next week, he said. See you next week. I stepped inside. The doors closed. I rode down to the lobby thinking about the way he'd looked at me. The way I'd looked at him. The way nothing about this felt like just business. The work was good. Challenging but manageable. I met with Thad every Monday for check-ins. We kept things professional, talked about content strategy and brand voice and messaging architecture. We didn't talk about the past. We didn't talk about the 8 years between then and now. But something was shifting. Small things. The way he'd smile when I made a joke in the margins of a draft. The way he'd remember my coffee order without asking. The way our meetings started running long because we'd drift into conversations that had nothing to do with work. 6 weeks into the project, we were in his office on a Monday afternoon. I'd just presented the final draft of the executive bios. He was reading through them on his laptop. These are really good, Sullivan. Thanks. No, I mean it. These are better than good. You made us sound human. That's not easy with this kind of content. I had good material to work with. He looked up. You're being modest. I'm being accurate. Take the compliment. Fine. Thank you. I'm amazing, he laughed. It was the first time I'd heard him really laugh since we'd reconnected. Open and genuine and exactly the way I remembered. There it is, I said. There what is? The laugh. I was starting to think you'd forgotten how. I haven't forgotten. I just don't do it as much. Why not? He leaned back in his chair. I don't know. Got serious somewhere along the way, I guess. Chicago made you serious. Maybe. Or I was already serious and Chicago just made it worse. You weren't always serious. You used to laugh all the time. That was with you. The air in the office changed. Got heavier. More honest. Thad, I need to tell you something, he said. And I need you to let me finish before you say anything. Okay. He stood up. Walked to the window. Looked out at the sound. I didn't offer you this project just because you're a good writer, he said. I offered it because I wanted a reason to see you again. A structured reason that felt safe, but it hasn't stayed safe. Because every Monday I see you and it gets harder to pretend this is just business. And I don't know what to do with that. I didn't say anything. I'd promised to let him finish. I spent 8 years in Chicago telling myself I'd made the right choice, he continued. Building my career. Doing everything I was supposed to do. And then I came back to Seattle and I saw you on that platform and something in me just broke open. All the things I'd been telling myself stopped making sense. He turned around, looked at me. I'm not asking for anything, he said. I just needed you to know that this hasn't been just business for me, that it's never been just business. The office was quiet. Just the hum of the heating system and the distant sound of traffic 14 floors below. Can I talk now? I said. Yes, I stood up. Walked over to where he was standing. It hasn't been just business for me either, I said. I've been coming to these meetings and pretending I'm here for the work. But I'm not. I'm here because I get to see you. Because I get to sit across from you and pretend we're just colleagues and not two people who used to know each other better than anyone. Sullivan, I'm not done. I took a breath. I think about that night 8 years ago all the time. When you asked me to come to Chicago and I said no, I think about how different things might have been if I'd said yes, or if you'd stayed, or if we'd found literally any other solution besides just giving up. We didn't give up. We tried. We tried for 4 months and then we gave up. What else were we supposed to do? I don't know. But I know I've regretted it. Every single day for 8 years I've regretted it. He stepped closer. So have I. We stood there, 2 feet apart. Everything we'd left unsaid for 8 years sitting in the space between us. What do we do now? I asked. I don't know, but I think we should figure it out together this time. Yeah, he reached out, took my hand. It felt exactly right and completely new at the same time. I'd like to take you to dinner, he said. Not as your client. Just as me. I'd like that. Tomorrow? Tomorrow works, he smiled. The real smile. The one I'd been waiting to see for 8 years. It's a date then. It's a date. I left his office that afternoon with a feeling I hadn't had in a very long time. Like maybe the thing I'd thought I'd lost forever was actually just waiting for the right moment to come back. We had dinner the next night at a small French place in Fremont. Quiet corner table, good wine. The kind of conversation that picks up where it left off 8 years ago and somehow feels brand new. We talked about everything. What had happened in Chicago, what I'd been doing in Seattle, the relationships we'd had in between that had never quite worked because they weren't each other. The way we'd both changed and the ways we'd stayed exactly the same. I dated someone in Chicago for 2 years, Thad said over dessert. Nice guy, attorney, we got along well. What happened? I realized I was dating him because he was convenient. Not because I loved him. That felt unfair to both of us. Did you tell him that? Eventually. He took it better than I expected. Said he'd kind of known. Thad paused. What about you? Few short things. Nothing serious. I think I was afraid to let anyone get close. Afraid why? Because the one time I did let someone close, he left. And it broke something in me I wasn't sure how to fix. Sullivan, I'm not blaming you. We both made choices. I couldn't figure out how to trust that again. He reached across the table. Took my hand. I'm not leaving this time, he said. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because I already tried leaving. It didn't work. I ended up right back here. Maybe you came back for the job. I came back for the job. But I stayed because some part of me was hoping I'd run into you. That's a long shot. I know. But I'm patient. We finished dinner and walked along the Burt Gilman Trail. It was late November and cold but clear. The city lights reflected off the ship canal. The air smelled like salt water and something green from the trees. I missed this, Thad said. Walking with you? Talking with you. Just being next to you. I missed it too. Can I ask you something? Always. What do you want this to be? Between us? I thought about it. I want it to be what it was before. But better this time. Smarter. More honest. I want that too. You think we can do it? I think we have to try. Because the alternative is spending another 8 years wondering what if. He was right. We'd already lost 8 years. I wasn't willing to lose anymore. We started seeing each other regularly after that. Dinner twice a week, coffee on weekends, long walks through the neighborhoods we'd explored together years ago. It felt familiar and completely new, like coming home and discovering the place had been renovated while you were gone. We took it slow. Neither of us wanted to rush. We'd rushed before and it had ended badly. This time we wanted to build something that would last. In January, Thad met my family again. They remembered him. My mother especially. She pulled me aside at dinner and said, "You're happier. I can see it. I am. Don't let him go this time." I won't. In February, I met his colleagues at a firm event. They were polished and impressive and seemed genuinely fond of Thad. One of them, A woman named Iris, who ran the operations division, pulled me aside. "I've known Thad for 5 years," she said. "I've never seen him like this." "Like what?" "Relaxed. Like he's not carrying the weight of the world. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." In March, we had our first real argument. About something stupid. I can't even remember what. But it escalated and we both said things we didn't mean, and I left his apartment angry. I got halfway home before I turned around and went back. He opened the door before I could knock. "I'm sorry," we both said at the same time. "I shouldn't have," I started. "No, I shouldn't have." We stood there in his doorway, and then we both started laughing. "We're idiots," I said. "Complete idiots." He pulled me inside. "But we're idiots who are trying." "Yeah, we are." We sat on his couch and talked it through. Really talked about what had upset us and why and how we could do better next time. It wasn't easy, but it was honest. And when we finished, we both felt closer than we had before. That became our pattern. When something came up, we talked about it. We didn't let things fester. We didn't assume the other person knew what we were thinking. We just used our words like adults. It was revolutionary. In April, my lease was up. I'd been planning to renew. It was a decent apartment and the rent was okay. But Thad asked me a question. "Have you thought about moving?" "Where would I move?" "Here, with me." I looked at him. We were having breakfast in his kitchen. Sunday morning, coffee and eggs, the kind of domestic scene I'd gotten used to. "You want me to move in?" "Only if you want to. No pressure. But my place is bigger and you're here most of the time anyway, and it seems like it might make sense." "Thad, just think about it. Take your time." I thought about it for approximately 12 hours and then said yes. Moving in together was easier than I expected. We already knew each other's rhythms, already knew how to share space. We divided up the closet. I took over one corner of his office for my desk. He cleared out a kitchen cabinet for my coffee mugs. It felt right. In June, we took a trip. Long weekend to the San Juan Islands. Stayed in a small inn on Orcas. Hiked. Ate good food. Sat on the beach and watched the water. "I could get used to this," I said. "What? The islands?" "This, us, having time to just be together." "Me too." "You think we'll still be doing this in 20 years?" "I think we'll be doing this in 40 years. "That's ambitious." "That's the plan." I looked at him. At this man I'd loved and lost and somehow found again. "I love you," I said. "I don't think I ever stopped." "I know." "I love you too." We stayed on the beach until the sun set, watching the light change, watching the water turn gold and then purple and then dark, holding hands like we had all the time in the world. In September, we had another moment. Thad came home from work looking serious. "I was at my desk working on an article. Can we talk?" he said. "Sure. What's up?" He sat down on the couch. "The firm is opening an office in Portland. They want me to consider taking it over." My stomach dropped. "Are you going to?" "I don't know. It would be good for my career. But I told them I need to talk to you first. Thad, I'm not making unilateral decisions anymore. This affects both of us." So we decide together. I sat down next to him. "What do you want to do?" "Honestly, I want to stay here. I want to keep building this life we're building. The career stuff is important, but it's not everything." "You're sure?" "I'm sure. But I need to know you're sure too." "I'm sure. I don't want you to go." "Then I won't." He called the firm the next day and turned down the Portland position. They understood. Offered him a different role in Seattle with more responsibility. He took it. We celebrated that night with takeout and wine and the kind of quiet contentment that comes from knowing you're exactly where you're supposed to be. In November, a year after I'd missed that train, we went back to Everett. Drove up together on purpose this time. Had dinner at a place near the station. Walked to the platform where Thad had found me. "You know what's wild?" I said. "If I hadn't missed that train, none of this would have happened." "You believe in fate?" "I believe in lucky accidents." "Me too." He put his arm around me. "Best accident of my life." We stood there for a while, watching trains come and go, thinking about all the things that had to happen exactly right for us to end up here. In December, on a Tuesday evening, Thad made dinner. Nothing fancy. Pasta and salad. We ate at the table in his apartment, our apartment, and talked about our days. After dinner, he pulled out a small box. "I have something for you," he said. "It's not my birthday." "I know. Just open it." I opened the box. Inside was a key. "Thad, I already have a key." "Not to the apartment." "To the house." I looked up. "What house?" "The one I put an offer on last week. In Wallingford. 3 bedrooms, backyard, office space for both of us. It needs work, but it's got good bones." "You bought a house?" "I made an offer. Contingent on you saying yes." "Yes to what?" He took the box back. "Set it aside." Took both my hands. "Yes to building a life together. A real life. The kind with a house and a yard and a future we plan together. The kind where we don't give up when things get hard. The kind where we choose each other every single day." My eyes were wet. "That sounds like a proposal." "It's not a proposal. Not yet. I want to do that right. This is just a promise that I'm all in. That you're it for me. That I'm not going anywhere. I'm all in too, yeah? Yeah, let's buy a house. Let's build a life. Let's do all of it," he smiled. Pulled me close. Kissed me like he meant it. And I knew. Standing in that kitchen with the dinner dishes still on the table and the future stretching out ahead of us, that we were going to be okay. Better than okay. We were going to be extraordinary, because this time we both knew what we had. This time we weren't taking it for granted. This time we were choosing each other with eyes wide open and hearts all in. 8 years ago, I'd let him leave because I was afraid. This time I was holding on, and I wasn't.